Hello everybody, my name is Yuri and welcome to my top 10 worst zombies map list. Without further ado, let's begin. So, within the past few weeks and days, I've noticed that there's been kind of a stigma going around, or more like a popularity happening with tier making, like the tier lists. Whether that be the best guns, the best maps, or whatever it may have you, zombies related or otherwise. And so I decided to put my fill in because if you've been following me long enough, or if you just know me, then you know I have some very controversial opinions on maps. So, I decided to take today to let you guys know what I officially feel like are my top 10 worst maps. I have no idea how long this video is going to be, but remember, this is going to be a two-parter. One is going to be a real list, one is not going to be a real list. It is up to you to decide, and I'll let you know what it is later. So, for number 10, I have Farm from BO2. Now, BO2 is very, I don't want to say nostalgic, but I feel like that's what it is mainly nowadays whenever I replay it. There are still some good maps, don't get me wrong, like Mob of the Dead, but for the most part, a lot of BO2 is not very well done in a sense of the maps, and not necessarily the designs, but the maps themselves. A lot of them are not very fun to play, and you'll notice a few of them on this list, on both lists actually. But Farm, I would honestly say, is a solid start because it's not very fun. Yes, there's perks, and yes, it's a challenge map, I understand that. But when the map itself isn't really fun to play on, it's really hard to actually get any enjoyment of it when it's a challenge map. Bus Depot, I'm very a fan of because there's no perks, and that's a true survival map because you have to use your skill. Not saying that you can't on Farm, but it's all two-hit combo and then you're dead, and so you have to survive as best as you can without any help. Whereas Farm is, you get perks, but at the same time, the map isn't very good. Of course, these are all opinion-based, and I know I won't be giving the best reasons, but I hope you can at least understand where I'm coming from. Number 9, I have Shinonuma from BO3 and BO1. Just the map Shinonuma itself is not necessarily what I would like to call a good time. The 4 different sections for perks, I like that you have to open all the doors in order to get all the perks. I'm into that. But the fucking water that slows you down is a little annoying for one of the perk locations. The little building that you start off in is great, but it's also annoying to kind of train or traverse. There's no actual, at least for me, there's no actual way for me to actually train or just like play the map long enough for me to enjoy it. It just seems like a big chore, and even though it looks great, like I really like the swamp aesthetic. It feels lonely, it feels like no hope is there, but when I'm playing the map, I don't really get that sensation because I'm playing the game. It's not a good time when I'm playing Shinonuma. Number 8, and I know this is going to stir up a lot of people, but it's going to be Origins. Who just called me? Oh, my dad did. Origins is going to be number 8, specifically on BO2. Sorry, BO3. Got you there, didn't I? But BO3's Origins is definitely a copy and paste, of course, from BO2. But for some reason, it doesn't really feel like it has the same soul as BO2, because BO2 is what started it, and it got the most hype and it has the most nostalgia playing it. Whereas BO3, yes, it's a little easier to play, but at the same time, like, it's like nothing special. It's just a copy and paste, just with better graphics. You can say the same thing with the Giant, but like Origins is a very good map back in the day when it came out. And just the fact that it doesn't really feel anything special. Like Kino, I honestly believe it's better on BO1 than BO3 as well. Because it just doesn't feel as miserable, as horror-esque. Where BO3 kind of adds the color and the lighting where it's like, oh, you're having fun. And like, I didn't want to. I wanted to feel like I'm trapped with zombies and I'm fighting for my life. Number 7, and I know specifically one person is going to be very upset at me at this, but number 7 is Firebase Z. I enjoyed playing Firebase Z for the first 2 to 3 weeks that I played it, but after that, it just did not call my attention again. I did not really enjoy going back to it. It's nice, and it's different from the other ones, but at the same time, that doesn't make it better. Like, I just don't see myself going back to Firebase as much as I would going back to Malware or Forsaken now that those two are out. Granted, Firebase was, what, the second map? But still, like, it just doesn't really feel like my cup of tea whenever I log onto Cold War and I think to myself, I want to play a few rounds of zombies. What's the best map that I can think of? That I want to feel like. And honestly, Firebase is the last one, or tied for last, on which one that I actually believe is the worst one. Number 6 is Moon. BO3's Moon. Now, this is kind of also the same feeling of nostalgia where BO1's Moon is great. Like, it feels good, it looks great. It was the first game, BO1 of course, to do the moon next to Infinite Warfare, but that was way later on. But BO3's was very, very annoying in the sense of it was another spit image. It was just another copy and paste with more lighting in it. And I know that was in the entirety of Zombie Chronicles, but for some reason, for example, Verrucht, that's just a great map in general. BO1 and BO3. It's just a really good map. They did such a great job with it. And honestly, I don't really feel that way with BO3. Like, BO3's Moon specifically. It just doesn't feel... I don't know if finished is the right word, because it's done. It's clearly done. But I just don't find myself gravitating... Same as Firebase Z. I don't see myself gravitating towards Moon, even though the gravity was fixed. Like, yes, it looks better, but at the same time, I don't know. It just doesn't feel... It does not have the same spark as the original one. And a lot of these, of course, are opinion-based and comparing them to the original, which I feel like is fair, because it's my fucking list. But still. Number 5. Number 5 is Buried. Now, this one I know is going to upset a handful of people. I couldn't tell names off the bat based on who follows me on Twitch. And if you do not follow me on Twitch, be sure to follow me on Twitch so that you can yell at me more. So that you can tell me your opinions on these maps as well. But Buried is definitely not a map that I would consider very, very good. Its layout is confusing. Of course, this is for me. The layout's confusing. Leroy is always a fucking problem, because he's always in the most inconvenient place in the most inconvenient time. Especially when there's a lot of zombies and all you want to do is aim and shoot, and then Leroy's like, hi! And then you shoot him, and then you have to go scavenge hunting for another key. And even though you know the map like the back of your hand, does not mean it's a lot of fun when you have to look for that fucking key again because you accidentally shot Leroy because his foot was poking out when you were aiming down sight. Number 4 would be Zetsubu no Shima. Zetsubu no Shima, sorry, apologies for that. That is a map on BO3 that I honestly feel like is the worst out of the BO3 maps. Now, a lot of people, I say that right now, but don't worry, I'm gonna get to the one that I feel like later. But Zetsubu out of the new DLCs, with the crew, if you may. There we go, that's a way to avoid it. The one with the BO3 crew. Shadows of Evil crew does not count, they're their own thing. But BO3 crew, Zetsubu no Shima was definitely not my favorite. It was great scenery with the swamp and everything, but the thrashers were extremely annoying. They are not what I would like to consider a good mini-boss. They are very tanky, which yes, so are Margwas. But for some reason, they can regen health, which is in a way cool, but at the same time annoying. Especially when they show up in an early round and you don't have a good gun. Yes, you can blame yourself for that, or you can blame me for that, whichever is fine with you. But it just, it's a big map. There's too many fucking doors. There are too many fucking doors to buy on that map. And, I feel like it goes into the later rounds because of that. Of course, if you know how to play the map left and right, back and forward, there's no problem. But for a newcomer to BO3, Zetsubu, if you showed them Zetsubu Nishima first, they probably would not like it because, one, the Easter egg is Farming Simulator 101, and the fact that it just does not feel like a very cohesive, not cohesive, a very fun map. For example, as in Horizon Track, where it's very colorful, even though it's a lot of whites, but it's very colorful, it's very mysterious. There's a lot of different voice lines in it that kind of like give a bigger mystery. But you could say the same with Zetsubu, yes, with the tanks full of the people and the Thrasher being a thing. And Takio being down there, like, why was he down there? Even though, you know, the Emperor sent him there. But, so, it just wasn't a very fun map. It's not a very fun casual map. It's more an Easter egg map, kind of like Gorod is for me as well. Speaking of which, number 3 is Gorod Krovi. The Easter egg specifically is one of my least favorite ones to ever do. I don't know, I mean, like, Revelations is still very, very up there, but Gorod is definitely not what I would like to call a very fun map. The dragon is cool and all, but of course, he can show up at the worst possible time. But of course, that's all RNG based, you can't control that. The corridors are pretty crowded and it's pretty not okay. I personally don't know even how to begin to train. The only way that I can think about playing Gorod round-based is to go into a corner and just pray that my Mark III lasts long enough for me to either quit or die and not feel bad about it. Number 2. Now these top... Okay, sorry. This one specifically. I can't say top 2 because I know. But... this number 2 is definitely going to be something that you guys can probably agree with, and that is Voyage of Despair. Now, I am purposely not going to record any video for this. I'm going to literally grab the trailer and hopefully not get copyright strict, because I cannot bring myself to even turn on my PS4 and play BO4. I just physically and mentally cannot do that. So, I hope you enjoyed the random-ass trailer that I found on the internet. But the absolutely confusing layout, the trash, terrible zombie forms, the map size isn't even the problem. It's the fact that it's a fucking cluttered mess. There are way too many hallways. There are way too many spawn locations for a small, little, tiny area. The guns, well, that's a whole nother story, but just the guns themselves on BO4 are just absolute garbage. And I know, like, oh, just upgrade them. That doesn't matter. I shouldn't need to upgrade my guns to make them incredibly good. Yes, it helps, but that shouldn't be, I shouldn't need to upgrade a fucking gun for me to enjoy it. I should be able to just grab it off the wall and be like, I know this is a good one, like the ICR in BO3. But the fucking level design is confusing as hell, as I've said before, and just there's nothing good about Voyage. And if anybody has any reasons as to why this is a good map, I would love to hear it in the comments, because I cannot find anything about it. Okay, so this is number 1. And there's not going to be any honorable mentions because I feel like a top 10 is enough, for my opinion, for everybody. So we're just going to continue with that, okay? And I'm going to take a more personal approach, and it's going to be a video over audio because I feel like I need a more personal touch for people who know who I am, so that I can furthermore explain what I mean. So, number 1, if you guys couldn't tell, is Shadows of Evil. Now, I know this is probably one of the most accepted and loved maps by, I would say, at least 75% of the zombies community. I don't want to say 100% because I know there are people like that who hate Shadows even more than I do. But Shadows of Evil is definitely my least favorite one, and I don't know... and if you follow my streams, and if you follow me on social... well, not social media, but specifically Twitch, then you know I've said this before, and my answer will not change. I don't know why I hate Shadows as much as I do. There's a potential reason that I can explain right now, but rationally, I don't think I can come up with a reason why I hate shadows so much. I can understand the aesthetic is extremely gorgeous, and I do like the color palette that they did. I can accept that, and I know that it's really, really good. The music is phenomenal, and I love Mama Margwa. That is our first introduction to Mama Margwa, and I will forever thank that map for that. But honestly, I just cannot stand that map. And I know I played it yesterday and I did the Easter egg. This is, Lord knows, however, that this is going to come out. But yeah, it's just anybody who knows who I am and has watched my videos before knows that I just hate Shadows of Evil. One reason potentially is that when I was moved out for the first time, I had my Xbox One. Before I even started streaming, I had my Xbox One, and what I didn't know back in the day is that if you didn't have any internet, you could only play Shadows of Evil, even if you had all the zombie maps downloaded. I don't know whose decision that was, and I don't know why they decided to do that, but that is the only map that I had played for months. Quite literally, for months. I was working at a warehouse job, and I did 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. And I would come home, I would eat some food, and I didn't have any internet, so I couldn't do anything. So I just played Shadows of Evil. And there's a big probably correlation with that, and my feelings for this map. Maybe, I mean, I can't remember back much from over there, but maybe it was like a terrible mindset. Maybe I wasn't happy with my life. Maybe it was like emotionally tied to me, but it is, when I say this, I mean this with 100% certainty and 100% honesty. Hating Shadows of Evil is so much more personal than I can put into words. Because, like I said before, I literally cannot tell you why I hate Shadows so much. And if anybody has an actual problem with that, a handful of you I already know, then please, by all means, put in the comment section, tell me how wrong I am. Join my stream at twitch.tv.uriexe so that you can explain how wrong I am, because I would love to not only meet you guys and all the new lads who want to yell at me, but I would love to know why you guys like it so much. And I already understand, and I already explained how I love the aesthetic. I don't like the characters. I don't. I love the aesthetic, I love the music, and I love the palette that they did. It's great, and it fits the era, it fits the timeline what they were going with, and it's great. But personally, I just hate Shadows of Evil. It's my #1 pick for a reason. Everybody who knows me and follows my stream knows this, so if you are not following me on Twitch, then this might come as a shocker. If any big boy YouTubers decide to challenge me on this, by all means, I will gladly talk to you about hating Shadows of Evil or trying to figure out why I hate Shadows of Evil. But regardless of that, that is my #1 pick, and that is my top 10. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know a lot of you are not going to be happy with it, but remember, this is one of two maps. This is one of two lists. Gross. If you guys enjoyed it, then please go ahead and leave a comment and like the video if you did. Subscribe if you want to see more of me and hate me a little bit more. That'd be super cool. Be sure to follow my Twitch down in the description so that you can potentially talk with me and hang out with me again. I would love to see all of you guys again. And see the reasons why you love Shadows so much, or hate me for hating Shadows so much. But regardless of that, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Remember, I have the list right here. This is one of two lists, and it is up to you to decide if this is the prank list or if this is the actual list. So I hope that I'm really curious as to see what you guys think of this list, because I'm going to be doing the next one right after this. So I hope to see you guys again, and as always, I will see all of you guys in the next stream. Bye-bye. Love you guys. Don't hate me too much.